Welcome to the 21st century, the era where more is always better. More money, more food, more stuff, more followers. We're living in a world where if it's worth having in excess. But hold on, is that really true? Today, we're diving into the murky waters of excess. What happens when too much of a good thing goes bad? Hey everyone, welcome back to Sthirvana. I'm Udit. Today, we're going to talk about something that everyone needs to hear: the dark side of excess. Like when you eat that third slice of pizza, even though you promised yourself you'd stop at two, or when you binge watch an entire season of your favorite show in one night and wake up feeling like a zombie. Yeah, we've all been there. We talked about minimalism in the last video, but I want to explore the other side in more detail. We aren't just talking about material things here, we're talking about mind, body, health, and emotions. So, what's the deal with excess? Why is it that having too much of something can turn from awesome to awful faster than you can say YOLO? Stick around because we're going to break it down in a way that's fun, witty, and maybe even a little eye opening. So let's get started. Okay, first things first. Let's talk about moderation. Now, I know what you're thinking: moderation is boring, who wants to live life in the middle? But hear me out. Imagine you're at a party and there's a chocolate fountain. Yes, a chocolate fountain because we're fancy like that. Now, dipping a few strawberries in that chocolate, pure bliss. But if you decide to dunk your whole head in the fountain, well, that's a recipe for disaster, literally. Moderation is a sweet spot where you enjoy the good stuff without going overboard. It's like having the right amount of salt on your fries: too little and it's bland, too much and you're chugging water like a camel. Moderation keeps things balanced, and balance, my friends, is the key to a happy life. It is Sthirvana. Look at nature. It's the ultimate example of moderation. Trees don't hoard leaves, squirrels don't stuff their cheeks with a year's supply of nuts, and bees don't build hives the size of skyscrapers. Everything is in balance. When we disrupt that balance by having too much of anything, things start to go wrong. So, welcome to the overconsumption zone. This is what happens when you're convinced that more is better. More clothes? Sure. More gadgets? Absolutely. More snacks? Don't mind if I do. But here's the thing: all this more isn't making us any happier. In fact, it's doing the exact opposite. When we overconsume, we're not just drowning in stuff, we're also drowning in stress, anxiety, dissatisfaction. Ever notice the more you have, the more you want? That's because excess creates a vicious cycle where enough is never enough. You're always chasing the next thing, the next hit of dopamine, but it's never truly satisfying. Excess doesn't just clutter our physical space, it clutters our minds. We become so focused on acquiring and consuming that we forget to appreciate what we already have. And let's be real, most of the stuff we accumulate ends up forgotten in a closet or buried under a pile of stuff we don't really need. So, what are the effects of excess on our health and happiness? Does it help there, or is it actually harmful? Let's start with health, shall we? We all know that too much junk food, too much screen time, and too little exercise are bad for us. But here's the kicker: even things that are generally considered good for us can become harmful when done in excess, like working out, for example. Yes, I said it. Exercise is great. It keeps you fit, boosts your mood, and makes you feel like a superhero. But overdoing it can lead to burnout, injury, and a whole lot of pain. It's the same with eating healthy. Yes, you should eat your veggies, but if you only eat kale for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you're going to turn green, and not in a good way. Kale's so delicious, said no one ever. But seriously, the point is that even healthy things can become unhealthy when taken to the extreme. Our bodies and minds need variety and balance to function properly. Too much of anything, whether it's food, exercise, work, or even sleep, can throw us off balance and make us feel worse instead of better. And when it comes to happiness, excess can be a real buzzkill. We think that more money, more success, more followers, or more stuff will make us happy. But studies show that once our basic needs are met, more doesn't necessarily mean better. In fact, constantly striving for more can lead to feelings of emptiness, dissatisfaction, and even depression. It's like we're always chasing something that the next thing will finally make us happy. But happiness isn't about having more, it's about appreciating what we have and finding joy in simple things. Sometimes less really is more. Let's talk about our favorite subject now, shall we? Social media, the ultimate playground for excess. Here's where everyone's living their best life, right? Endless vacations, fancy cars, gourmet meals, and flawless selfies. But what you don't see is the reality behind the filters. Social media can make us feel like we're missing out, like we're not doing enough or having enough. It's like a never ending competition to see who can have the most, do the most, and be the most. And guess what? It's exhausting. Why is it so hard to get that perfect shot? Maybe because real life isn't supposed to be perfect. Social media feeds us this idea that more followers, more likes, and more attention equals more happiness. But the truth is, it can leave us feeling more disconnected, more insecure, and more stressed out. Sometimes the best thing you can do for your mental health is to take a break from the constant barrage of more on social media. It's okay to unplug, to step back and focus on what really matters: your own well being, your relationships, and things that bring you true joy. Because let's be honest, no amount of likes or followers can replace the real connections and moments that make life meaningful. All right, moving on to the next topic, let's get real for a minute. All this excess we're talking about, it's not just affecting our mental and physical health, it's also wreaking havoc on the planet. Our insatiable appetite for more stuff means more production, more waste, and more pollution. We're depleting resources, destroying ecosystems, and contributing to climate change, all because we can't seem to say enough is enough. When we think about the true costs of excess, it's not just about the money we spend or the space we fill. It's about the long term impact on our environment. Every time we buy something we don't really need, we're contributing to a cycle of overconsumption that's unsustainable in the long run. And the irony, the more we consume, the less we have: clean air, clean water, and a healthy planet. But here's the good news: we can all do something about it. Reducing excess in our lives doesn't just make us happier and healthier, it also helps us protect the environment. By choosing quality over quantity, reusing instead of constantly buying new, and being mindful of our consumption, we can make a positive impact. And trust me, the earth will thank you. My final thought before we actually talk about what we can do here is how excess impacts our mind. Ever notice how having too many options can be overwhelming? You'd think that having endless choices would be a good thing, but it turns out that it can actually make us more anxious and less satisfied. It's called the paradox of choice. When we're faced with too many options, we stress over making the perfect choice. And even when we do make a decision, we're often left wondering, what if I chose the wrong one? Do I want one with the berries? Or the one with the almonds? Or the one with the weird cartoon mascot? Why is this so hard? It's just zero. But that's the thing. Too much of anything, even choices, can make life more complicated and less enjoyable. Sometimes the best we can do for our mental health is to simplify. Fewer choices, less clutter, and more focus on what really matters can lead to a clearer mind and a more peaceful life. It's like decluttering your brain. When you let go of the excess, you make room for clarity, creativity, and calm. So, as promised, let's talk about what we can do about excess. Let's talk about the power of no. We've talked about this topic in another video, but there's no harm in talking about it here as well. In a world that constantly tells us we need more, saying no can be a revolutionary act. Whether it's declining that extra slice of cake, turning down another invitation, or resisting the urge to buy something on sale just because it's on sale. Saying no is about setting boundaries and taking control of our lives. Saying no isn't about deprivation, it's about empowerment. It's about knowing what's enough for you and being okay with it. It's about choosing quality over quantity and valuing your time, energy, and resources. When we stop chasing after every opportunity, every deal, and every trend, we free ourselves from the burden of excess and start living more intentionally. And here's the best part: when you start saying no to excess, you start saying yes to things that really matter. More time with loved ones, more energy for your passions, more space for your dreams. Less really can be more. And that's the secret to living a balanced, fulfilling life. The secret to Sthirvana. So what's the takeaway from all of this? It's simple. Excess isn't the key to happiness, success, or fulfillment. In fact, it's often the very thing that gets in the way. Whether it's stuff, food, work, social media, or even emotions, too much of anything can lead to stress, dissatisfaction, and a feeling of emptiness. But when we embrace moderation, balance, and simplicity, we find that life becomes richer, more meaningful, and more joyful. We start to appreciate the little things, savor the moments, and live with the sense of contentment that excess can never provide. Thanks for joining me on this journey to explore the dark side of excess. Remember, it's not about having more, it's about having enough. When you find your enough, you'll discover that life is pretty amazing just the way it is. So here's to living with less and loving it more. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need a little reminder that sometimes less really is more. Until next time, take care, be present, and work towards Sthirvana.